That grimy yellow-brown tint creeping across your old game console, your kitchen mixer, your power strips, and your outlet covers, it isn't dirt, and no amount of scrubbing will lift it. But there's a $2 bottle sitting in most medicine cabinets that can turn back the clock and make that plastic look factory fresh again. And restoring plastic is only the beginning of what this stuff can do. So grab a bottle and let's get into it. Number 1. Reverse yellowed plastic. Let's start with the trick from the title because it feels like magic the first time you see it. That yellowing isn't grime you failed to clean, it's chemistry. Older hard plastics, especially the ABS plastic in vintage computers, consoles, appliances, and light switches, were made with bromine-based flame retardants so they wouldn't catch fire. The problem is that after years of sunlight and heat, that bromine gets excited, migrates to the surface, and forms compounds that soak up blue light and reflect that ugly bronze yellow back at you. Hydrogen peroxide breaks those compounds apart, and the yellow lifts right out. Here's how. For small items, submerge the plastic in a clear container of 3% peroxide and set it in direct sunlight. Within a few hours, you'll watch it bubble and brighten. For bigger pieces, coat them with a stronger salon-grade peroxide, the 40-volume developer from any beauty supply store, around 12%, or a gelled version, then leave them in the sun. Retro-tech restorers do this constantly and call it retro-brighting. One honest note, it's a cosmetic fix, not a force field. The yellowing can slowly creep back over months or years, so you may need to repeat it down the road, and wear gloves with the stronger stuff. Number 2, the chlorine-free laundry brightener. Take a look at your dingy white shirts, your grayed pillowcases, and that once crisp tee that's gone the color of weak tea. Hydrogen peroxide is oxygen bleach, the exact same active ingredient in those pricey oxy powders, just in cheap liquid form. Add about a cup to your wash along with your regular detergent when you're doing whites, and it lifts the dullness right out. For badly yellowed pillows and linens, soak them in a tub of warm water with a couple of cups of peroxide before washing. The best part is that it does all this without the harsh fumes of chlorine bleach and without being nearly as brutal on your fabric. It also kills the bacteria that make old laundry smell musty, no matter how many times you wash it. One rule to remember, it still bleaches, so keep it far away from your colors or spot test a hidden seam first, and never pour it into the same load as chlorine bleach. Number 3, erase blood stains like they were never there. This is one of the most jaw-dropping tricks in the whole list. Get fresh blood on a shirt, your sheets, or the carpet, and pour a little 3% peroxide directly onto it. It'll foam up instantly, like a grade school science experiment. That dramatic fizz is oxygen ripping the stain apart at the molecular level. Blot it, repeat, and the stain simply disappears. It works so well because blood is loaded with an enzyme that makes peroxide erupt on contact. Even older, set-in bloodstains give way after a few applications. The one thing you have to get right is temperature. Always use cold water, never hot. Heat cooks the protein in blood permanently into the fabric, and once that happens, no product on earth is getting it out. This single trick has rescued more mattresses and white sheets than every stain stick on the shelf combined. Number 4, kill those yellow armpit stains. That crusty yellow halo on the underarms of your favorite white shirts isn't just sweat. It's sweat reacting with the aluminum in your antiperspirant and baking into the fabric over time, which is why it laughs at your normal wash cycle. Here's the fix. Mix hydrogen peroxide with a spoonful of baking soda into a paste. Scrub it into the stain and let it sit for 30 minutes to an hour before washing as usual. The peroxide breaks down the yellow discoloration while the baking soda scrubs out the crusty buildup. And your funky gym clothes get the same rescue treatment. Soak them in peroxide before you wash them, and it kills the deep-set bacteria responsible for that sour smell that somehow survives every single laundry day. Number 5, Destroy bathroom mold and mildew. You know that black gunk that colonizes the grout in your shower and creeps around the edge of your tub? Professional mold remediation crews reach for hydrogen peroxide to handle it. Spray 3% peroxide straight onto the moldy grout until it's soaked, and let it sit for about 10 minutes. For the really stubborn lines, sprinkle baking soda over the wet grout. Spray again, let it bubble up, and scrub with an old toothbrush. What makes it better than just wiping the mold away is that peroxide kills the spores buried underneath the surface, so the mold is much slower to grow back. And unlike bleach, it won't fill your tiny, poorly ventilated bathroom with lung-searing fumes. The secret most people miss is contact time. Peroxide needs several minutes sitting wet on the surface to actually kill anything. Spray it and immediately wipe, and you've mostly just moved the mold around. Number 6. The effortless toilet bowl cleaner. This one is almost too simple. Pour about half a cup of hydrogen peroxide into the toilet bowl, let it sit for 20 minutes, give it a quick pass with the brush, and flush. It whitens the porcelain, kills the germs, and knocks out odor, with no scrubbing your arm off and no choking on bleach fumes in a closed little room. It's cheap, it's boring, and it works every single time. Keep a bottle under the bathroom sink and you'll never go back. Number 7. Sanitize the germiest thing in your kitchen. Brace yourself. Your kitchen sponge is one of the most bacteria-packed objects in your entire home, by some measures, dirtier than your toilet seat. Every time you clean with it, you're smearing that around your counters. So once in a while, soak it in a bowl of straight 3% peroxide for about 10 minutes to nuke the bacteria hiding in it. The same goes for your cutting boards, especially after you've been slicing raw chicken. Spray them down with peroxide, let it fizz and rinse. It seeps into the tiny knife grooves where bacteria love to hide, and where a quick rinse under the tap never reaches. For a few cents, you've disinfected the two things in your kitchen most likely to make your family sick. Number 8. Streak-free glass and mirrors. Put down the blue ammonia spray. Hydrogen peroxide makes a fantastic glass cleaner. Spray 3% onto mirrors, windows, and glass stovetops, then wipe with a lint-free cloth. It cuts through toothpaste flecks, hard water spots, and greasy film, and it dries completely streak-free, with none of that eye-watering ammonia smell hanging in the air afterward. And while it's cleaning, it's quietly disinfecting the surface too, which is a nice bonus for a bathroom mirror everyone breathes on. Number 9. Wash your fruits and vegetables. Grocery store produce comes coated in a waxy film and invisible surface bacteria that a quick rinse under the faucet barely touches. Here's a better way. Add about a quarter cup of hydrogen peroxide to a large bowl of cold water and let your fruits and vegetables soak for a few minutes, then rinse them thoroughly with plain water afterward. The peroxide helps strip away surface bacteria and residue that plain water leaves behind. Plenty of home cooks swear this makes their berries and leafy greens last noticeably longer in the fridge because you're removing the microbes that cause them to spoil so fast. Just be sure to give everything a good final rinse before you eat it. Number 10. Rescue stained mugs and baked-on cookware. Coffee and tea leave a stubborn brown film inside mugs that scrubbing barely dents. Make a paste of peroxide and baking soda, smear it inside the mug, let it sit, and wipe it clean. The stain lifts right out. That same paste works wonders on crusty, burnt-on baking sheets and pans. Spread it over the charred spots, wait a couple of hours, and the gunk scrapes off with almost no elbow grease. It even works on discolored countertops. A paste of peroxide and flour left overnight under a layer of plastic wrap can pull stains out of surfaces you'd written off as ruined. One important exception, though: skip this on natural marble or granite. Peroxide is mildly acidic and can dull and etch polished stone over time. Number 11. Bring a dying houseplant back to life. If you've ever loved a plant to death by overwatering it, leaving the roots mushy, brown, and rotting, hydrogen peroxide might be its last hope. When peroxide breaks down, it releases a burst of pure oxygen, which is exactly what waterlogged, suffocating roots are starving for. At the same time, it kills the fungus and bacteria doing the rotting. Mix 1 part 3% peroxide with 2 parts water and pour it over the soil. For a serious case, gently pull the plant out, trim away the dead black roots, soak the healthy ones in the solution, and repot in fresh, well-draining soil. It aerates the compacted dirt and gives your plant a genuine, fighting chance at recovery for the cost of a splash from a bottle you already own. Number 12, make old seeds sprout faster. This one sounds made up, but it's completely real. Soaking seeds in a weak hydrogen peroxide solution before you plant them can speed up germination and even wake up older seeds you'd assumed were long dead. The peroxide softens that tough outer seed coat so water can soak in faster, and it wipes out the surface mold that would otherwise rot the seed before it ever sprouts. Just soak your seeds for around 20 to 30 minutes in a diluted solution, rinse them off, and plant as normal. Gardeners use this trick to squeeze life out of seed packets that are years past their prime, turning a packet you were about to toss into a tray full of seedlings. Number 13, a free fungicide and pest spray for your garden. Powdery mildew coating your squash leaves, fungus gnats swarming the soil of your potted plants, aphids and other soft-bodied bugs chewing through your garden. Hydrogen peroxide handles all of it. Mix about a tablespoon of 3% peroxide into a quart of water in a spray bottle and mist the leaves and the soil surface. It knocks out fungal infections and kills fungus gnat larvae living in the dirt, and a slightly stronger mix sprayed directly on soft-bodied insects takes care of them too, all without dumping synthetic pesticides onto food you're planning to eat. Spot test a leaf or two first and check back the next day, since tender new growth can be sensitive to it. Number 14, deodorize the fridge and your funkiest corners. Wipe down the inside of your refrigerator with a cloth dampened in peroxide, and it cleans up sticky spills, kills the bacteria behind that lingering fridge funk, and leaves zero chemical residue near your food. It's one of the few disinfectants you can feel genuinely comfortable using where you store your groceries. The same trick freshens up stinky, reusable grocery bags, lunch boxes, and coolers that have soaked up years of odor. Spray, let it sit, and wipe. Instead of masking smells with perfume the way most air fresheners do, peroxide attacks the actual source, the odor-causing bacteria, so the funk doesn't just come right back an hour later. Number 15, freshen foul-smelling shoes. That eye-watering smell rising out of your gym shoes, your work boots, or your kids' cleats is bacteria, plain and simple, and peroxide destroys it. Lightly spray the inside of the shoes with 3% peroxide and let them air dry completely somewhere with good airflow. It kills the odor-causing bacteria and even the fungus responsible for athlete's foot. Just test a hidden spot first on colored or delicate materials, since peroxide can lighten fabric if it's strong enough. Number 16, disinfect the toothbrush you never think about. Your toothbrush sits out in the bathroom collecting whatever's floating around in the air, and then it goes straight into your mouth twice a day. Every so often, swirl the bristles in a small cup of 3% peroxide for a few minutes to kill the bacteria hiding down in them. Then rinse it well before you use it. This is especially worth doing right after you've been sick. It stops you from reinfecting yourself with the same bug you're trying to shake. Number 17, soften cracked, calloused feet. For rough, cracked heels and hardened calluses, add a generous splash of hydrogen peroxide to a basin of warm water and soak your feet for 20 to 30 minutes. It softens up the dead, thickened skin, so it sloughs away far more easily when you follow up with a pumice stone, and it disinfects at the same time. It's essentially a nearly free at-home version of the soak you'd pay for at a pedicure, using a bottle that's already in your bathroom. Number 18, deep clean your washing machine and dishwasher. Here's the irony no one thinks about. The machines that clean everything else get filthy themselves. Over time, your washing machine builds up mildew and a musty smell, especially front loaders. Pour a couple of cups of peroxide into the empty drum and run a hot cycle with nothing inside. It deodorizes and disinfects the parts of the machine you can't reach. Your dishwasher benefits from the same treatment. Peroxide clears out the funk and bacteria that build up in the corners and the door seal, so your clean dishes stop coming out with that faint sour smell. 2 machines you never clean, freshened up with the same cheap bottle. Number 19, sanitize makeup brushes and reusable water bottles. If you wear makeup, your brushes are a hidden reservoir of oil, dead skin, and bacteria that you press into your face daily, a real driver of breakouts. A soak in a diluted peroxide solution, followed by a thorough rinse and a full air dry, disinfects them and helps your skin. The same goes for that reusable water bottle you refill for a week straight without washing. A rinse with diluted peroxide kills the bacteria and knocks out the stale smell that builds up inside. Number 20, the one thing you should stop using it for. Now for the twist most people have never heard. That childhood ritual of dumping peroxide on a scraped knee. Doctors have quietly retired it. Yes, it foams up dramatically, but that foam is peroxide destroying not just the germs, but also the healthy new cells your body is frantically trying to build to heal the wound. Research has found it can actually damage tissue and slow your healing down. For a minor cut or scrape, the modern recommendation is simply plain soap and water. So save your peroxide for your laundry, your grout, your garden, and your yellowed plastic, the places where it genuinely works wonders, and keep it off your wounds. Before you run off to try all of this, a few ground rules that keep it from going wrong. Stick with the plain 3% bottle for nearly everything. The 35% food-grade stuff you see hyped online is dangerously strong and can burn skin and eyes on contact. Never mix hydrogen peroxide with vinegar, bleach, or ammonia in the same container, because those combinations create corrosive acids and toxic gases. Store it in its original dark bottle somewhere cool, because light breaks it down, which is exactly why it comes in that brown plastic. And if it stopped fizzing when it hits a stain, it's gone flat and lost its power, so swap it out. Not bad for the cheapest bottle in the store, right? One $2 staple that restores your yellowed plastic, saves your stained clothes, and rescues your dying garden. Try a few of these and see which ones surprise you the most. If this video taught you something new, hit that like button and share it with a friend who'd never believe half of it. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss what we dig up next. Thanks for watching.